Spectrum Podcast.
Typecast.
Hello, everyone. Warm welcomes to another Spectrum podcast. This is yet another episode in the Unveil season where we unveil some of the roles and responsibilities and fields in the creative industries. Hosting this episode is me, Apandi Razak, and
I'm Ralph. So behind the scenes to anything you see on the screen are the unsung heroes who help to orchestrate from pre-production to post. So these people are called producers. So in this episode, we have the honor and sit down with us, have a chat, and talk more on how their experience, with these two amazing people. Talk about more on the film and production side, in the advertising side. So welcome to the podcast, you two. Please, maybe we can start with the introduction.
yes, please.
Yeah, ladies first.
Ladies first.
Alright, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is, I'm not going to reveal the full name because it's a mouthful, but now my brand this year has been Amaru Jumat, because in the company that I work with, there's 3 Amals. So I'm the Amaru. I've been producing since 2017. I'm also an alumni from Busan Asian Film School, graduated last year. So that's my brief introduction.
Damn, pressure on. Hi, my name's Moza. I'm a director in DOP. I own Kotek Studios, and I'm quite new to producing, and I'm excited to be here.
Thank you so much. As you can see with their esteemed background and title. Esteemed background and title. We're a bit nervous. Like, oh my God. Amongst creatives in real life? What is this? Anyways, so I'm sure some people listening aren't too familiar with what exactly producer is or what they do. Like, producer, what is that? Oh my God. So can you guys briefly, or like not briefly, explain what are the roles and responsibilities of producers? How do they differ from other roles in production, such as like director or writer?
Yeah.
Like, what are producers? Anyone?
Kan dipendekkan cerita. Yeah. So, in the simplest of form, producer keeps the ship afloat. If you see the ship as the film, the project, the people, the story, so producer is the one who makes sure that if sekiranya kapal itu dah bubus, kami tuang tampal lah. Kalau ada krunya keluar dari kapal itu, kami cari kru lagi lah. Setelah
Have to find a life buoy.
yeah, so in general terms, and the most layman of term, that's it. We make sure that ship stays afloat and reach its destination very well. So, yeah, that's generally
So
it.
what if there's a pirate in that boat?
What if there's a pirate? We throw him aboard. Yeah, we try to. Are we still on the pirate ship? If sekiranya there are things that would disturb the direction of the ship where it's supposed to go, or sekiranya ada barang-barang yang indah di expect to happen, then we are the troubleshooters. So we figure out the solution. Either we figure out by ourselves, we bring the team in, we discuss, we talk, we figure out plan A, B, C, D, E, sampai Z lah if perlu. And then whichever solution fits the best for the problem, then we'll try to apply that as soon as possible. So that's what we do.
From my side, I think I completely agree. For me, I think I usually have multiple roles that I'm playing, and it's like I like to deal with the clients. I like to see logistics and budgeting, and from there, if I'm directing it, I would already have like a clear vision with like what I'm hoping to accomplish with it, and so I think that's what I would do. Yeah.
Okay, coming back to that ship thing.
It's gonna stick. I feel it's gonna stick.
So if you were to say like in a ship, do you think that producers are the captain of the ship?
I I wouldn't say we're the captain of the ship because there's two ways to see it. The ship in itself, the vehicle of making that people arrive from A to B, then that's the producer's job to make sure that it stays intact well and it keeps the people afloat until it reaches its destination. In terms of where we're going, this is the story term. So where we're going, that is the captain. The captain speaking here will be the director. So yeah. So maybe like if we are to reference again the person on the show, I don't know what they're called, the one who stargaze like I wanna
navigator.
The navigator.
Yeah.
The navigator would probably be a scriptwriter or assistant director. So they're the ones who help make sure that the director, despite him, I want to go to the very beautiful island over there. I see a lot of animals that we can eat. So AD scriptwriter will be like, okay, if we want to reach there, then these are the story, these are the paths that we need to go through. And then me as the producer, okay, the ship can contain this amount of food, this amount of, like it can go through terrains of waves and whatever. So yeah, cuma itulah.
Is it like from what you described today, your roles, like it's a lot, like the tasks, the responsibilities, it's a lot. Do you normally do it this by your own? Or like producers and you have many?
Preferably. I mean, essentially, ideally, it would be great to have a lot of helpers. That's why we call it a film crew. So there's a lot of crew members to partake in this very eventful journey of going from A to B. But before, I mean, when you're starting off as a producer, like myself, I was just a production assistant. So it's kira macam you can do it alone if you have the experience to do it. You cannot start off alone without any necessary skills already intact with you. You have to be prepared, and that preparation is the training. The preparation is whether you're taking other roles before, not as a producer, assistant producer, scriptwriter, or anything lah. And then after a while, like when you do know that you are capable of doing it alone, sure, why not? That's what I would say.
Kalau kancang rasanya sudah, let's go.
Let's go.
Why you wanna produce alone ka? Okay lah.
No. No.
Yeah. Bahaya tu.
So yeah, let's move to the next questions. My next question is about like, I'm curious. I'm really curious. We're really curious. Dari mana datangnya? Sebenarnya, how you guys started? Like, what brought you into this position?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you
What's
guys
the
forced
story?
into it?
Yeah.
Were there no other positions left, and you guys picked? Yeah.
Yeah, we can start with Moza.
Producer.
I think
Let's
for
tell the
me
story.
it was mainly brought on because I think my main focus before was like DP and director, and I always had a visual part of it. But I think eventually, being recognized or clients saying like, oh, like we like the look of your film, and then they would directly contact me. So from there, I would have to directly liaise in a sense where I want to understand more about what they're looking for. What's the scope, what's the actual general outlook of the production.
Yeah.
And then from there, I would carry on and find the crew, the necessary people involved, and look at the pre-production side of it, and then we would execute it, and then post-production. Yeah.
Do you do this by yourself?
Most of the time, but I would try to get others involved. I think early last year was when I started meeting more creatives here.
Yes.
And then that's where I would sometimes get an AD, and then have additional people on board. Because, like Amal said, you can't do it alone. You need a team. Or you could do it alone, but it would take a long time and not the time frame that most clients have for executing projects. So, yeah.
Apa tadi soalannya? Where?
Like
How do I start? How does
Yeah.
this
Like,
start?
how did you get to this position? Did you get
Thank
roped
you,
to be-
UBD, for the struggle of a student. Yeah, no. So 2017, I was I think I was supposedly year 3 UBD.
Third year.
Third year, but things take a different turn than I expected. I had to change my course from computer science to something else because, yeah, I'm not really good at computing, unfortunately. I realized too late. And then DY comes in. I was supposed to fly off to Korea for student exchange program. And something goes wrong with my visa application. I was notified that, you have 1 week to find a placement year internship. Otherwise, we'll be placing you in COP. And COP was my very last option for my discovery year. So what happened was I was really panicking, and then in the midst of trying to alleviate my panic state, I went on IG. I saw this post looking for opening internship placement, Filterworks Productions. I'm like,
Shout.
I don't know what you are. I'm apply. And then I applied. They called me for interview, and little did I know that it was a film production house. And our first assignment was to watch movie and analyze that movie. I had no idea how to analyze a movie. They were like, okay, lakas ta ka Times Square. Lihat apa ada dengan Rina 2. And we're like, cool, this is a very cool internship place, you know? Like, we're watching movie on first day. Coming from Times Square, what'd you guys think of the movie? What about the framing? I'm like, the what now? The framing? The story? The what? Do you know anything about filmmaking? I have no idea about filmmaking. Okay, you have 1 week to study about filmmaking. Still out of study. And then here I am. So that's how I started.
Yeah, look how far you've come.
Now you're here.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Mashallah. Yeah, it's a very unexpected journey for me lah. I figured that after a while of interning there, I noticed that the things that was required of being a producer are soft skills that I somewhat already have. I just need to polish it further and focus it into that career. So for me, it was not easy, but somewhat easy. I don't really need to find a new skill. It's more like polishing the skills I already have. Multitasking, organizing, documenting, accounting, all those things, like talking to people, doing sales, negotiation, delegating tasks. Those are, I would say, things that I found out little by little throughout the path from being a regular intern to assistant producing, and then producing, script writing. I'm like, oh, this is great. So
From the sound of it, from the sound of it, producers, the producer life chose you. You don't choose the producer life.
Don't
So-
do it.
don't try to set home. No. Yeah.
So, based on what you mentioned, those things, as well as Moza as well, what he mentioned, it sounds like there's a lot of things going into being a producer. From from the first thing is kickstarting the project, right? And to keep things going, something like that. So, I want to know, I feel like the audience would like to know, how would or where do you even start with projects, tackling them? And where'd you go on from there? Is there a 101 guide on how to be a producer or how to tackle a project?
I laugh at that first. There's no golden answer to how to best produce things. But everyone probably universally have a similar starting point, idea. So you have an idea, you see it becoming a video in some form, a film or a commercial or a series or a short film, whatever it is. It all starts from an idea, and then talking to the right people. I would say that's how most projects starts. Same for clients, same for us, same for students, same for anybody. Creative people. So you have an idea, talk to people, and then you find the right people. Finding the right people is the other thing. You can't just go free. Generally that would be great.
How's your
Finding
Sunday?
people who are available, go free. Komo tulong. That's a good start. But if your project scale is already big, or you've already labeled it as a very important project, final year project, student, you can't just simply go free. Ko nada class ka na rin.
Well.
You can't do that, especially ko free ba. Ko jadi DOP kami lah. That's a very, very chaotic combination over there.
Okay.
Ko film pa kay phone lah saja. Ko YouTube karang madlam isok tani shoot.
You hear that?
Yeah.
That's
FYP?
the 101
No.
not to do. Yeah, that's the 101 not to do. But people's idea, and then a lot of talking. I would say a lot of discussion. A very, very productive discussion. Bukan bagosip lah ha. like discussing about how to get that seed of an idea into an actual film that you show to people. Yeah, generally.
What about Moza?
What was the question?
It's like
I lost track.
step
How's your
by
Sunday?
step,
Sunday. phone.
a step-by-step guide on how to start a project and how to keep it going.
Personally, for me, I think there's not really a step by step. Like I also agree. Like it just comes at you out of nowhere. Like you could be pursuing this or that, and the next thing you know, oh, you have to start being able to be organized and structured. That's something I'm still learning. You know, leadership skills, like soft skills you develop. Sorry, what was the question again? I forgot again. Yeah, step by step.
Like to run a project.
To run a project, yeah. Like it's sort of like it goes in stages, you know. Like you're starting with that idea, and then next thing you know, you have to figure out, okay, like to execute this idea, what do you need, or like, you know, location wise, where are you gonna shoot it? You know, who do I need? You know, who's my gaffer? Who's etc. etc. So it sort of leads you to those questions that you need to know to understand what you want to execute, and so yeah, that's what I would say. Yeah.
As you mentioned, like of course, I feel like the key is here communication.
Yeah.
So yeah, how do you like when you're like as you start the project and you're gonna meet with a lot of people, your crew and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Like how do you guarantee like there's a effective communication and clear communication between that? Like how you making sure?
Clear communication. I think I've always been the producer that before hiring anybody or like putting together the team, my biggest goal before everyone starts moving, everyone starts doing their own thing, is to make sure that we're all on the same page. Like we have a very clear picture. Like 99.99% everyone is on a similar page. Like that page is defined by what is this project, what is the format of this film, why are we doing this film, what is this story about, how long is this project going to take, what do we need to achieve it, each one of us, what do we need to contribute, how do we solve any problems that would arise while we're trying to go there. You know, that kind of start, to me, if I see everyone like, "Bah, okay, that's good enough for me. Like, I can start from there." That, for me, already defined, like, okay, I can communicate with these people, and that's a good sign of a crew that I can build together. If there's already a lot of miscom while you're trying to clear communication, that's a bad sign. That's like a red flag of like something is not connecting. Yeah, HBO, aku, Disney Plus. You know, macam tu lah. Like it's not. It's going like that. So for me, establishing the right frame of mind with all the crew, that's great. That's the first start of communication. Second is just, you know, the regular logistics lah. Like macam kalau tani communicate, dari siapa ke siapa, di mana, the platform, are we talking? Like, are we gonna always have a call? Can we meet up? Or is this always just gonna be an update on like macam social platforms? How is it? So those are just the regular things in establishing communications, I would say.
I think I'd say the same thing. For me, I like working with people that like to ask questions and want to know more.
Questions.
Like engaging. Like they're very active in wanting to know more, understanding, and actually communicating, you know? Because there's some people where, you know, you're trying to communicate and there's only like, yeah.
Okay, noted.
And then on the day,
On the day,
okay. Questions.
what do I do?
Yeah. Aku sebenarnya sini bahapan. Oh, you're asking this today while we're shooting.
Yeah.
That is a not ideal situation. It's like you ask questions before you start doing. That's the part of the planning. When we plan, you ask questions, you answer questions, you discuss any creative ideas together. When it's the part where we're doing the production, less talk, more doing. Unless, like, the director, of course, you need to talk. You need to give directions to the actors or whoever, the set. But everyone else, that's when you start doing less questions. Yeah.
True.
Okay. So, I have a question.
Bagus.
Well, are either of you extroverted, or both of you are extroverted?
I'm introverted.
Introverted.
Introvert is the one where you don't talk much,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I'm introverted.
I'm
So okay,
introverted.
that's so odd. Like introverts going into producer's role where they have to talk a lot
The
to
struggle is real.
Yeah.
people. Okay, so does it not drain away your social battery?
It
Like
does.
how
It
do
does.
you maintain
So
it
3
by the
cans
end
of
the day?
coffee a day minimum. I think it's the first, like the early times. Yeah, macam tua saja bunyi ko.
Back in 19...
Dulunya, yeah, baru mula-mula start ito kan. It's the most difficult and exhausting thing to do, to figure out the right energy, to make sure that I can stay functioning throughout the day for at least the next 6 hours. Awal-awal was so difficult. Especially like, like my husband.
Yeah.
He's the most,
Oop.
yeah, the creative people in general, the others, like they are such high energy power people. They'll be like, you're talking like this, and suddenly they're throwing ideas. Kalau light sani kanya, macam, what? Sorry. And then you switch there, and then like, okay, get back to the conversation. Lawa jo kasut mo to, like very ADHD like vibes, chato. So it's so exhausting. I swear, like it's not even
Still,
a joke.
like I'm still adjusting.
Yeah,
hold on,
it's
hold
still
on.
adjusting. But I guess, like, the good thing about it is because I already know I'm such an introvert, I try different ways and different methods of making sure that whatever that I do, I will be good at it. I will be the most helpful as a producer to everyone who needs me. And over time, it just starts building up. Your energy bar, to kalora game niya. Alhamdulillah, makin maningkat la, the level up la sudah. So, yeah, tuning, like after every project, it's like, 10 bar, like plus 10, like it's great. So I think right now, alhamdulillah, the 2,000 huli sudah. Energy bar ko tinggi la sudah.
Like,
Tapi after this, I'll be
plus 10
sleeping because
charisma.
I'm still like, this entire thing is already draining as it is. I'm like, sekejap. Karang lagi minum kopi. Yeah, chato. Yeah.
Don't worry, we have coffee for you. Do we? No, sorry.
False hope, It's okay. Yeah, it's okay.
What was it again?
How do you maintain your social
Coffee, bro.
battery?
Okay. I don't know. For me, I don't. Like, I'm just like, okay, I'm all out one day, and then
The next pass out.
yeah, I'll reach a limit. Like, go home. I need to
I think
recharge
that's
that battery.
relatable for all
Yeah.
production people out
Yeah.
So
there.
you smile the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Hi,
just like-
hi.
but deep down,
The first thing you get in your car.
Any corner, dark corners, like personal rooms, restrooms, is where I recharge.
Yeah.
I'm like, kejap pa.
Cari plug dulu, cari plug.
Apa tadi? Yeah, taruh
Turning
sesuatu.
blood, and you just spend 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Breathe, I guess.
Breathe. And I think actually the fun part about practicing how to increase the energy level is talking to other introverts who I've seen also flourish in this kind of situation. How do you do it? How do you do it? Because I cannot. Teach me, sensei. Chatulah.
Introvert
Yeah.
masterclass.
Introvert masterclass.
I feel like
how
all
to
the
be, yeah.
all the introverts are just. You don't know how? I also don't know how. we're just bouncing off each
Yeah,
other.
like you don't know, I don't know too.
Let's find a corner together.
And hide.
You're in that corner.
Yeah.
Let's book a corner.
Boleh.
All right. So
Speaking of creative direction, like you mentioned about directors have this creative like energy of creativity. Like, what if you have something to say? Like I'm curious about how much creative control you have in the project. Like, is it all directors, or what if you have something to say and something like that?
Ah.
Yeah.
Sebelum lupa soalan.
Like, has
yeah.
there been
So-
any
Mikir pasal
challenges?
ni.
So in other words, how would you explain? Like, could you ask that in another way? There are different.
Macam bahasa Melayunya. Like, how as a producer, like, how much creative control you have, like, in that project? Like, or is it just fully on the director, or you guys have something?
Yeah,
to say
sometimes
too?
I hit like a roadblock, especially if I'm like doing multiple roles. I sometimes reach that point where, okay, I might need a bit more assistance, or I would like input, or like I like to ask questions like, oh, what do you think about this? What do you, just to get back that creative block rolling for me, and then from there I would go on and decide. But generally speaking, yeah, I don't like to turn people's opinions down. I like to listen, and then I would see, okay, is that feasible with the production side and all these other factors that come along, and from there, yeah, we decide as a group. Yeah.
Feasible. I like that word. Feasible is the right word to say on how much of a creative control that producers have. If your idea is feasible for the whole production, given the limitations that we have, is doable to make it, like a good story, a good project, then yeah, good. But I would say typically in terms of how much I control, I rather not control. I would only step in when I know that's going into gray territory, gray area, so to say. So it's stepping into something that maybe legally is not a good thing to do, or testing I would say aspects of a story that would garner negative attention. So those kinds of things, as a producer, I do have a little bit of say lah. I wouldn't say no immediately, but what I would do, I would ask the director back or whoever is giving the
Like
idea.
advice.
Where is that coming from? What is the point of inserting that into this project? Have you thought of the pros and cons? And then we started from there lah. And then if sekiranya whatever is being decided on, it's gonna be more damaging than it is benefiting the whole thing, then it is my responsibility to let the people know, the team know, that as much as I would like to support the team, I don't think this idea will be good for the big picture. So that's probably the most of the control lah.
The consequence.
Yeah, the consequences. It's preparing for the consequences, because a lot of times we're in the midst of, the good feels. We have this great idea. And you just start piling ideas like top, 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 top. And then you never realize, it doesn't occur to you that one of those are really not good lah.
Yeah. Not
good.
appropriate.
Like before you get into red flag, there's a gray flag.
Yeah. Before red flag, there's a gray flag.
Whoa.
Yeah, whoa.
Gray.
Maybe not.
Hold up. Yeah,
Okay. So we recognize that with different people comes different ways of handling things, but also changes according to projects. Since the two of you have participated both in films and advertising as well. Advertisements.
Commercials.
Yeah,
Commercials.
productions.
Yeah.
Regarding that. So do you find that your responsibility as producer change depending on whether you're working on film or advertising? Like, is there a huge difference? Is there even a difference at all?
I mean, take it this way. If the project is big and it requires a lot more people to be hands-on, then definitely my scope of work will have to change. Like, I would say typically in a small commercial, I could man the whole crew as a single producer. I'm generally multitasking as different types of producers. I'll be the line producer, I'll be the main producer, I'll also be handling accounting and all that stuff. But say, for example, if I'm handling a TV series, then it is ideal for me to delegate more of the task into different kinds of producer. So that what I do, if I am the executive producer or the general producer, I would be able to oversee each of the tasks being handled much efficiently than if I am to do it alone.
Yeah.
So, does that make sense? Yeah, cuma itulah. Kira macam, if sekiranya project atu ada 15 episode, and each of those episodes is already as big as one commercial each. So that means, ideally, either I have 2 other assistants, so I can divide the series into 2. So you handle this first part of the series, you handle this first part of the series. I'll oversee that, make sure the whole season is finished and the whole season is equipped. That is, like, I would say, how it would differ from project to project lah, depending on the difficulty and the complexity of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's about how big it is and how complex it is, the idea, the concept, like how difficult is it to execute. And then I mean, I've never done film, but I can imagine it's a huge process.
Yeah.
Because I normally work on like commercials or music videos, and usually I could man that and have multiple roles and just have a few other people delegate their roles. So yeah, I think it's definitely depending on that complexity and that structure of a production that you have. Yeah.
Like you guys mentioned, like you guys sometimes have a multiple roles. Why is that? Like, is it because of the client's budget ka? Apakah,
Apa,
why is it? You guys mentioned sometimes you have multiple roles in that project. So why is that? Like, why don't you guys hire someone? Or like, is it because limitation of the budget? Sometimes.
That could be a reason. Like limitation of budget is always the popular reason why we have to wear different hats, I would say. But sometimes you just either budget, time, just simply you have thought about it. Like say between me and the director, I'm the producer, somebody's the director. And then we know that this project is not going to take that much resources anyway. And it's so simple that it can be done by two person. You and me. Sometimes it's just like that. So it's a matter of being efficient. If you think how many people that you're working with is already efficient as it is, there's no point of adding more expenses.
Not necessary.
Not necessary. It's not necessary. So it really depends. But yeah, I guess like commercially, on average, the reason why we wear multiple hats is not enough budget.
I see.
That's in general.
That's the main.
That's the main. Yeah. Don't say E.
So do you guys feel there's I'm pretty sure they mentioned, but like try to elaborate clearly. Let's get like when working between films and what's it called, advertising. So let's say you roll producer, you that producer. Like, do you have like a switch the mask or like it's like what's the similarities or the difference kind of?
That's what I asked.
Wait, what?
Multiple hats, you mean? Like, how do we switch off? Yeah. I mean, I've only ever been in a position of wearing a director hat and a producer hat like twice in my career journey because it's not my favorite combination. It can get confusing, especially like I know that the task of a producer is already complicated as it is, and then I want to add this complexity of making sure that my brain doesn't get distracted from getting the right picture. That is, if you're not experienced in dealing with those kinds of balance, it gets really distracting. And you don't want that kind of distraction if you are holding a director's position. Like, especially like already people are depending on you. Like, we've prepared all that we want to prepare. Like, we got everything. And then on set, on the day, can you imagine a director just go there? Macam niya bisa ya this frame ah. Macam niya Choco cuba different types of acting expression. Like this is not a trying anymore. This is supposed to be a doing. Period. Yeah. So I guess it's not the ideal situation to wear different hats. I would say.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so being a producer, you kind of like lead and the decision maker in the project. So have you ever encountered or even simply witnessed gender bias that affect the work producers do?
Have you?
So far, I haven't.
Yeah.
I
I don't
hope not.
think so. Yeah. I don't think if it ever occurred, I don't think it registered. Like that's what I would say. I think because this is how I see it. If you are so focused on completing the work, those kinds of issues or those kinds of aspects shouldn't even be bothering you that much. Like all I need to do is to make sure that this project is complete. However I achieve that in the most positive way, that's where I'll go. Everything else, a distraction, I'll put it aside, put it at the back, put it away. So it's I don't think it was anything that, if it ever happened, I don't remember, or it doesn't really matter, So that's probably it. Yeah.
Okay.
I think at the end of the day, it's about the project itself.
Yeah, the
it's
project.
not about genders or biases or things like that.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you have a job and you gotta get it done.
Yeah.
Just focus
Yeah.
on that.
That
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Completing it, you're done.
Yeah.
All worries gone.
Yeah.
Back to the corner.
Yeah.
Back to the
Back
corner.
to the corner.
Charging.
Charging.
Yeah, charging.
Charge. All right. So now more than ever, we see this growth in video productions in Brunei. And with that, producers are incredibly important. We know this. We know this. Producers are important.
Mantap.
Yeah. So it by no means is an easy task, but as people who have taken on the role as producer, what makes producer position so fulfilling? None. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, dang. Yeah.
Don't sign up.
Yeah.
Knowing that all the hard work, like, this is how I would see it. Imagine if I'm producing this. I've always been in the background.
Yeah.
The ones who's front facing are the actors, the directors, or the DOPs and stuff. But at the end of the day, to be able to make sure that they can do that and it gets good reception and it all ends well, I think that's the most fulfilling thing.
Oh, that's nice.
Like, it's not a matter of like, ako mo jo popular, ako mo jo famous.
Yeah.
It's, you get to do that. We all get to do this. Like, I imagine, like, the first time I see the Bruneian people's name appeared on Netflix because I somewhat helped that. I don't need to say to people, ako da,
Well,
like,
now
but,
you heard it here first.
but that is my first time, ako da, like, but it's just,
Clip that.
it's just when it plays and you saw that and you're like, yes, we got it there. Now
Which
what's the next
project
one?
you meant? The next Netflix.
It's Artel Chronicles. It was a TV show produced by TVN and Studio Dragon. The main talent on it will be Song Joong Ki and a few other people. But they came over to Brunei a few years ago, and then so they were filming here,
time.
and then I had the privilege of handling the Bruneian coordinator side of things of the production. And just that tiny role, it's not even officially a producer. I'm not even a producer. But the task that I was given was relatively similar to what a producer do, like handling talents, making sure the welfare, scheduling, and all that stuff. But that when we did it, it was such a difficult thing. Like, everyone was struggling, everyone was exhausted. And months later, we saw in the credit of the last 4 episodes of that series, everyone was like big smile, so happy, like, ada tu nama aku sana, cuba watch. Just skip saja the rest of the episode.
just
Like,
to watch the credits.
just that one. Like, it was such a nice feeling.
Yeah.
Nice, like, very fulfilling moment.
Yeah.
And that's probably the one that I strive, like the low-key goals. Like, to see people, even though all around struggle, and at the end of the day, they see the fruit of it, the fruit of all this hardship, and then they go, like, they're happy. It's a memory. So for me, that's like, that's the best.
It's humbling. Yeah.
That's the best lah. It's not even like macam, like, appreciation sometimes doesn't need to be said, but I can see the moments in people's lives. Like, I did that project, and I did that project. It's in my portfolio, and it helped. Like, people don't need to say thank you, but I know somewhere, somehow, that helped you along the way. That's great. Like,
Well, what about you?
Same thing.
Oh,
cut it
That,
short.
Like-
she said it all.
wow.
I felt it. Yeah.
Like, sorry. Like, damn, well said.
Well said.
For real, though. For real.
But thank you for that. Like, it makes producing
life.
job. Yeah, the life of.
The life.
Yeah, making it sound like a
I
thug
guess
life.
it's not a very popular way to see it, but that's how I always see it. Like, I see people, the crew, red carpet, whatever, like the actors. But I know somewhere before that I helped making sure that that project even existed in the first place.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Speaking like a true introvert. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. In this room right now, amongst the people who are watching, who wants to go into this industry, like, so what advice can you give for people who are like going into this
Okay,
career?
I need some time to think about that. Hold up.
Itu yang payah nih semuanya nih.
Yuk, charging dulu.
Any advice for us, for them, for the viewers? Like and
Let's say
subscribe.
like I go
Yeah.
to you like, yo Mo, aku mau jadi producer.
No one ever says that. No.
I said that.
Oh no, maybe after this, there. Yeah.
Wow.
After this podcast, they say, I love being a producer.
Sudah hatulah. Try. First step is always trying. It's always gonna be intimidating when you're stepping into something new. Whatever that role is, doesn't mean producing kapaka. But if we're speaking in a producer's, like world, try. Like you're always gonna meet failures, big or small. But what are you gonna do after that? Try again. So it's never gonna stop. Like you're always gonna be making mistakes along the way. But ensure that you try to avoid it next time so that you become better the second time. And the third time, and the fourth time, and the fifth time, and it goes on and on and on.
I think like being open to that journey and
Open
embracing
mind.
embracing those failures and not seeing it as like, oh, like I really messed up, but like it's a step forward for you. I think that's always how I pursued things in my life. I mean, regardless of what industry or what you're trying to do, like always enjoy and embrace that journey and know that these people around you are there to help. They might be hard on you, this and that, but it's part of that process that you have.
Every job is hard. There's always aspects to it that makes it difficult. That's why it's called a career. You build a career.
it,
You think building is easy? Go do construction for once. Like it's not easy. Playing Lego, building is still not easy. It's still the details you pay same. Like apply the same mindset to if you want to try to step into producing. I would say second to that is learn. Be able to learn, be ready to learn. Because everything that you do, like me talking right now is me learning how to be a producer in a podcast TV. Like it's always something to learn. So be ready to learn.
I think like the soft skills you learn as well, like having to deal with that, amount of people and learning leadership skills.
Introvert.
Yeah.
Or I think to add that on, it's like patience as well.
Yes,
Patience.
Out of the comfort zone.
Yeah.
level,
Struggle is real.
Yeah.
Patience plus a good poker face. When somebody just tries stepping out of the line a little bit and you're like,
Would you say like being a producer and you must have a strong mentality?
you do.
For sure.
You definitely do. Not to say that having a strong mentality is where you should start. Again, it's something that you build. Like we all, both of us, I feel like we never started where we are today. We had a history. We had a journey where we were so tiny. We're tiny humans
Jareh
with
sudah.
tiny skills. Jareh sudah.
Beaten down already.
Yeah, we were like, at one time, like, ay mulanya, satu, But
Okay.
It's never ending. Like you always learn something.
Yeah.
And to the people that want to do these type of things, like it's okay to start from scratch. Like, I literally started just watching YouTube videos of Sam Calder, doing those transitions, and I was like, oh, one day, I want to do that. And then it led
One
to all
day.
this.
You'll get there.
yeah, one day. That's still the goal. One day.
Yeah, one day.
One
Morgan
day.
Freeman.
I must say goal to goal.
Yeah, that's really amazing. Like, I didn't know being a producer is really tough. At the same time, it's very fulfilling for you guys. Like,
It is
so
very
please respect your producers, guys.
Yeah. You hear that? All right.
Interesting.
Now, we've come towards the end, but to wrap things up, shameless plug time. Do you guys have anything to promote on our podcast? Right, the cameras are here, 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 and here.
Do you?
Just promoting the creatives. Keep going, keep moving forward. Do your best, fail, but succeed in the process.
Yeah.
Word.
Hashtag kabaju. Yeah.
I don't know where that came from. It just came out.
Make that a shirt.
Yeah,
for our
shirt. Make a
spectrum.
shirt. Merch. Shameless plug-in. Currently producing a short web series for Filtworks Productions. It's currently today our first production day. We are also, it's our first ever cross-border collaboration with a Malaysian studio.
Whoa.
So it's pretty big, even in the scale of big that we've ever been in. It's a horror comedy. Hopefully you'll see it next year in domestic cinema. Yeah,
Oh.
domestic, keyword domestic. I didn't say Bruneian cinema. I said domestic.
Domestic.
Okay. Keep an eye out, yeah? All right, so. Whoa, so much information. All right, round of applause to our esteemed guests for the work they
Yes.
do, and thanks for coming into our podcast.
Yes, thank you guys.
We hope you guys have a lovely time here. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, experience, etc., etc.
Yes.
No worries.
And to the audience also, thank you so much for watching all the way to this end. We have a surprise later on. No, I'm kidding.
What?
Stay
I was
tuned.
just like, you false hope me with the
No,
coffee.
for
What
the
now?
audience, for the audience. Remember, the next time you're watching something on screen, there are some unseen roles that make it all happen. Remember, like just now, you might be watching Netflix show. You never know, like there might be producers here.
Yes.
in the-
Goals.
Yeah, goals,
Goals.
guys. Woo! So if you want to see more episodes, we have all our past episodes, including one from previous Spectrum, on our YouTube channel. So check us out at UBD Spectrum on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter/X
Right.
to stay updated for our upcoming exhibition and more, and more. We also have TikTok, actually, at
Yes.
Behind the Spectrum, where we unveil what goes on behind the scenes. Now, to wrap things up, as you said, Amal, let's practice on our producer poker face. Okay, on three, on the camera. Okay.
Wait, what's
Whoa,
the
whoa,
poker
whoa,
face?
whoa,
Wait,
whoa.
wait.
It's like your RBF. It's like how do you like? You know you're mad, but you gotta be professional with them. So you're like,
Okay.
yeah. So okay.
I'm already doing it as we speak.
Okay.
Are we looking at the camera?
Yeah, on that camera. Okay.
Okay.
On three. One. Wait, you do also. Like we do also. Okay.
Alright, okay.
1, 2, 3.
Charging?
All right. Thank you everyone for watching. Make sure to watch the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.